Manager of the Los Angeles Dodgers, fresh off a run to the League Championship Series, Ned Colletti. Ned, Brian Kenny here. How are you?
Hey, good, Brian. Good to talk to you.
Ned, how much business gets done at the GM meetings?
Well, I think there could be some business done, but I think that's usually more foundation work than anything else. You know, there's been calls made, people talk to each other previous to this meeting, but I think you can get maybe a little bit more groundwork done here that can maybe set something up for the winter meetings coming up.
What do you think of your roster going into this offseason?
Well, we've got some needs. You know, we're going to need a starting pitcher, perhaps two. We've got to reshape our bullpen a little bit. Got a couple of free agents out there that we like, that were with us last year, that we're going to continue to pursue, and got to figure out one more infield spot and a couple utility spots. So we've probably got 4 or 5 needs right now, but by and large, the core returns. But as we found out last year when we went into the camp with 8 starting pitchers, 8's not going to get it done. You're going to need more than that. We've got 3 or 4 right now. We'll probably have to add to it. We've got Beckett coming back and Billingsley coming back sometime early in the season, so we still need to add a starter.
Do you learn anything in the postseason, or do you just think, well, things unfold the way they unfold in a 1-week period?
Well, I think we learned that having Hanley Ramirez without a broken rib probably would have been better than having Hanley Ramirez with a broken rib. I think we learned that about 9 pitches into the LCS. I think you look at this past LCS and you can see the value of pitching, and you can see the value of power pitching in certain situations. I think losing Hanley and having him try to come back and play at far less than 50% probably was a tough thing to overcome at that point in the season. Hopefully our players grew a lot, figured it out, and get a chance to get us back there again next year.
Ned, you make such a splash with the big names, but a lot of the smaller names, we see how important they are come playoff time. Wani Ribe, Mark Ellis, Brian Wilson. What about those players now going into this offseason?
Well, we've got interest, and I think part of our strength this past year was really the clubhouse and how well people got along and how well people kind of melded together. I think when you look at adding veterans to your club, you look for that type of leadership, you look for that type of people, and it helped us have the success that we did have. And
speaking of the culture and everything else, you have a manager who's up for Manager of the Year, Don Mattingly. What is the organizational view of the manager, Don Mattingly?
Well, he's in. He's got a contract for next year. We like him. I think he's done a really good job. I think last year when you look at the kind of season we had massive expectation going into the year. We had a bunch of injuries coming out of the camp and more that found us early in April and in the mid-April. And he kept it steady throughout the season and ends up winning his first division as a manager. I think there's more years to come and more success to come. I think the world of him.
Well, I guess, yeah, then the question then is, right, I think there's years to come. Are there going to be contractual years to come, extending them, or what's going to happen?
Well, our policy is we're not going to address any negotiations at this point in time with anybody. So anything we do, we'll do in private.
Speaking of which, Clayton Kershaw, long term. What are the plans?
Well, again, we love Clayton. Obviously, there's a lot to love, and I think that he loves being in LA. So at some point in time, we should sit down and figure out where we go from here. He's got 1 more year left before he's a free agent. He knows it. We know it. I think we all know how we feel about each other. So hopefully we'll be able to come to a common ground with him and his representation and try and get something done with him, because obviously you got somebody with his makeup, character, and ability, very special.
What about your outfield situation, Ned? What do you want to do there?
Well, you know what? It's everybody keeps thinking that we're going to trade an outfielder. Last year, if we had, I think, 2 games when we had all 4 outfielders really available on our on the 25-man, and we didn't make it through either game without one of them getting hurt. So I think it's something we got to be careful with. We got a lot of talent out there, but we need them healthy, and we need enough depth to get us through. In some ways, Brian, I look at it as everybody last winter telling us we needed to trade some starting pitching because we had too many starting pitchers, and now we're hearing we've got 4 outfielders. Well, you still have to have 4 guys that can play every day and have 4 guys that are healthy. And until we know where we're at with that, it's going to be tough to move somebody.
All right, Ned Colletti, Los Angeles Dodgers. Ned, congratulations on the success this season. Thanks for talking with us.
You're welcome, Brian. Thank you.